Now, there's layers of accountability, Caleb. The first layer is, of course, the crew leader. Now, he's responsible for that job, but he's also working on the job.
Right.
So that also needs to be held accountable. That project manager piece ensures that that manager on the job has what they need, isn't wasting time, and they remove the client aspect from the equation, which in this case could be a GC. So who's the project manager in your company? All right, what's happening, good people? Here with my good friend Caleb Howe, Proficiency Plus. I know you're growing, I know you're scaling, so here to talk a little bit about employees. Tell me what's going on, bro.
Yeah, for sure. This is my coordinator, Jorge. He actually is living in Colombia. So he's been helping me. He's been with me for almost a year and a half, I think now. And he's been in the weeds with me. And we're trying to kind of get ops to level out a bit. So some of the stuff that I wanted to discuss with you, and if you're having any trouble hearing me or connection issues, let me know.
Yeah,
But labor hours and performance pay, like we've been, all subcontractors, and now we've brought on a lot of guys in like a kind of hourly type of arrangement. And so this has been 2 weeks that this has been going on, and it's really chaotic, disorganized, sloppy, and it's a catastrophe in the making. So we're trying to, at the end of this week, lock that down and say, okay, going forward, we were talking to Brandon Lewis yesterday, and he was saying how we need to have a set number of labor hours for every week. Is that how you do it with your employees? You have a set number of labor hours?
no, we look at it like this. The first thing is it's all about, in my opinion, it's all about responsibility, right? Like who's where's the ownership on the job, right? So when we
Yes.
think about a team of employees, have you established leadership on that team?
Yes. We
Okay.
have every crew has a crew leader.
Okay. How many employee-based crews do you have?
Um, Jorge, what do you think? 3 or 4? We got yellow, blue, pink.
Green. Yeah, I'd say 4.
Yeah, but green's a sub.
Jorge, if you want to pop on the camera, it'd be good to see you. Otherwise, you don't worry about it, but it'd be good to see you.
I mean, one
In any
second.
Yeah, no worries. In any case, Caleb, so you have these are employees,
Yeah, hourly, basically. Yeah. Those
hourly.
guys are the employee ones. The green team is a sub right now. And
So how
so
many hourly employee-based crews do you have?
3, 3
3.
or 4, depending on if because there's like 5 of them are together right now on one job finishing it out. But last week they were split into 2 different crews.
Okay. So who are the crew leaders for each of these crews?
So Oscar is in charge of yellow. Josue is in charge of blue. I don't know. Would you say Edwin is in charge of New Heights? I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. And I'm calling them pink. We have to assign them. So those are the 3 crews, and those are the
Okay.
3
So
main
why do you
foremen.
feel like you need to do performance pay?
Well, they're not hitting the timelines.
Okay.
They're not
So
they're not doing things that we told them to do in the
got
time
it.
we told
All
them to
right.
do it in.
So yeah. So this is vastly different than subcontractor world, because
Yes, it
subcontractor
is.
world is you don't care. You care, but not to that degree, right? Because what happens is if they don't hit the timeline, you start losing money.
You
With
start losing money,
subcontract,
yeah.
yeah, with
Right.
contractors, you don't lose money. So the first thing is how clear are you making the timeline to the crew leader ahead of time?
I would say that it's been no less than one time, pointed out, but as I was telling someone yesterday, you gotta tell people 3 times at
Got it.
least.
So let's
So I
talk about it.
reiterate this
Because
point
here's the
several
thing: what we
times.
don't want is we don't want to take money and throw it at a problem and hope that
I
that's
don't
what
wanna
fixes
do
it.
that.
That's a bad business process, right? I don't like performance-based pay. I don't. I think it's just honestly, it's your job to paint.
Mhm.
The standard is you get it done on time, or we find another crew leader that gets it done on time.
So you're saying that the ownership of the timeline should only be credited or blamed on for lack of a better word, the crew leader?
Of course, that's the standard, is you get it
And
done
so
on
what would be the ramifications for a missed timeline or
a
something
write-up.
like that? Okay.
It's a write-up without if it didn't have a good reason. right? So there's sometimes it happens, right? Sometimes estimator did a poor job on estimating the time frame. That's why the system has to be there first. So the only thing left to isolate is lack of performance.
Mhm.
How much performance pay can you throw at someone every single time they do a good job? It's never
Well,
ending.
it's also on the low end, it's adding incentives for them to improve, but it's also taking them down from where they are in case they're being overpaid because based on their current level of performance.
It's messy, isn't it?
It's ugly, it's disgusting, and I hate it.
I
That's
don't
why I'm
I
like,
don't that's why I
help me
don't
out.
do it. I'm all for rewarding people, but we reward people for things that they do in excess of their responsibility. If the responsibility is to just get the job done on time and that's well established, well, then we pay that person more to make sure that happens. We don't
Yeah.
say, "Hey, you get this because you hit the freaking timeline." No, no, no.
Mhm.
You get this because you not only hit the timeline, but the customer left a 5-star review.
Mm.
You see?
So let me ask you this. Would that be like a base pay plus incentive for the foreman, or
Well,
would
let's
that
think
be
about this
just
for a second from a systems perspective, right? Are
please?
you using drip jobs?
No, we're not because we're in new construction, and
Okay.
that's
So what are
been
you
part
using?
of the your Google Drive.
You
It's
can still
disgusting.
use
That
drip
was
jobs for new construction.
well, I think we might have to because we're at the point where we have too many crews. We can't keep up with them, even with Google Calendar and Sheets.
Have you
Like,
ever
do you
used
guys
drip
have?
job?
We did when we were doing residential, and then we got
Yeah,
away
but
from
you
it
can
because
still, the drips are still valuable to the GC to let him know what's being scheduled. You're still running appointments, right? You're still doing estimates, aren't you?
it's just different. It's bids, you just do it on the
It's bids.
computer.
You're still showing up at a location and looking at it, right?
No, it's all drawings.
It's all drawings? Okay, well, for the most part, the you're still sending estimates, right?
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Okay, so you're sending estimates, that job gets accepted, yes?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Okay, good. So this is where we need to make sure that the handoff, because what's cool about drip jobs is the handoff, right? And what
Yes,
you do with
agreed.
that handoff. So you send the estimate contains all the information, contains what's being done, your thoughts as the estimator, how many hours you assign to the job, which I make it easy. I look at days. So you might say 24 hours, I say 3 days, right? When I say 24 hours, that's for each crew member of a team of 3. So the total labor hours on that would be 20, 40, 60, 72. So if it's a 72-hour total labor job, that's 3 full working days of 8 hours, right? So you don't
Uh huh.
wanna you wanna make complex things simple with your team. You don't wanna say, "Well, Oscar, you have 72 labor hours to get this job done. Oscar, 3 days."
Yeah. Well, that's how we've been doing it, where we say, hey, this is, it needs to be done by this particular day, or these are the amount of days that it should take. But what ends up happening is it doesn't, it takes
Right.
longer than what it should.
Got it. So that where I'm getting at with the handoff is that when does he get the details of what needs to be done? How does that happen? What is he receiving? If I'm Oscar
We
and
have a
I
work
work for your
order.
company, oh, he gets a work order. How are you building that work order?
We have a custom template my wife designed based on some experience she had in a company that she was working for landscaping. I don't know if I have a hard copy handy, but it is all the information that they could relevant like need for the job. What
On the work
paint's
order,
going
does it
where, what the
say how
timeline.
many days the expectation is?
It has a timeline, yeah.
Okay.
It's just not like it's very small and it's in the top right hand corner, so maybe it's not
Okay.
made to seem
That should be
important.
the most prominent item on the work order, right?
Okay, Jorge, so we're gonna need to redo the work order and we're gonna find out a way that we can make the timeline
So check this,
show up
Caleb, just so you
more
know.
importantly.
Real quick, if you were to use drip jobs and you create the proposal gets accepted or marked as accepted, however you do it, a work order gets generated automatically. There's no work needed done. You send that link. Now, how does communications happen in your company?
WhatsApp,
Okay, these are broken processes, okay?
I
And
agree.
what winds up happening is again, we try to overcompensate broken processes because the only thing we can think of is we throw more money at it, it'll incentivize someone to do what they're supposed to do.
Mhm.
So I can tell right now if your communications are in WhatsApp, that's a recipe for failure.
What would you say would be a Slack? Well, Miss Jorge and I use Slack, and what we're doing, I just introduced the first painter to Slack today, and I said this is something that we need to roll out. But the thing is, I don't want to put these other guys in Slack because I don't know if they're going to be here in a month. because
Well, that
I'm
doesn't
sick of
matter
dealing with
because
this
there's
stuff.
a cool feature in Slack that lets you add what's called an external connection. So they still download Slack, but they don't get to see everything. They only get to
Yeah.
access the channel that you allow them to see. And the reason why I'm saying this is because we have an automation in my painting business where when I sell a job, obviously that job gets accepted. Once it gets accepted, we assign a crew to it. And the day before that job gets scheduled, we move the job to in progress, and that sends a Slack message to the entire team on that specific crew. Why is that important? Because they all see the work order the night
Okay.
before, the day before. So they can
Uh-huh.
review it, they can ask questions to the project manager, they see the timeline, it clearly says 3 days, and they can all set their sights on making sure that happens. Now, there's layers of accountability, Caleb. The first layer is, of course, the crew leader. Now, he's responsible for that job, but he's also working on the job.
Right.
So that also needs to be held accountable. That project manager piece ensures that that manager on the job has what they need, isn't wasting time, and they remove the client aspect from the equation, which in this case could be a GC. So who's the project manager in your company?
Well, Jorge and I kind of share that
Who's
responsibility.
boots on the ground?
That's me.
Okay, that's a problem. Okay, and you know this. Okay,
I had to fire. Well, not my. I didn't fire him, but he had to resign, the project manager, because we had some large issues after almost a year.
okay.
Uh,
So we can't. How long ago was that?
what do you think, Jorge?
Like 6 months.
It's been that long? Yeah, I guess it has been about at least
Okay.
four to
So
six
imagine you
months.
work at a restaurant or you own a restaurant, Caleb, and that project manager is the hostess at the host stand, and you fire her.
Yeah.
Does it make sense to wait 6 months to get another one, or do you just say, you know what,
Well,
I
if
can
we
see.
were at 500,000 last year, you wouldn't be telling me to hire a project manager, and that's where we were. So the unit economics for a painting business don't support having that kind of a hire at this stage. Now we're gonna triple that this year for sure, but things kind of went all the way down, got fired by a bunch of people, a bunch of different things happened, and then had to basically rebuild. So the last 4 months we've
I'm
been
I'm
rebuilding.
talking to you as like, see, the thing is, man, I'm talking to you as if you're at the 1.5 million because I know you're on your way to that. You got to
Mhm.
realize you're telling me that you're losing money on each job because they're not being managed properly because you can't be 4 places at once.
Yeah.
So you're out selling and doing whatever you do throughout the day, networking, growing the business. But you and I both know, man, like it's hard to get to those jobs. It's hard to deal with each person. They all
Yeah.
have needs. Hey, I need this. Okay, well, just run to the paint store. How many times are we doing that through the week?
Oh man, Jorge, you want to put a number on it?
Like this just yesterday, like 2 times.
Okay, there's your money, dude. Your crew leader's leaving.
Yeah, we
The
actually
project
Ubered the
manager
paint
needs to
from the
be.
paint
So this is an
store.
investment. This is an insurance policy on protecting your profit. Now, you can maximize a project manager up to 6 jobs.
Okay.
Like any more than 6, you're gonna need another one. But now you have someone who you hold ultimate responsibility to. He gets incentivized.
So what would you say would be, well, because I know we're covering a lot of ground here. I know that we're going to need to. The third question I was going to ask you is project management software, which it sounds like just getting drip jobs would help us on the front end with our sales ops and streamlining those automations and things, but it'll also help us with the handoff. The problem only I could see there is just that we're going to have more detailed proposals. But like we built out, me and Andres, one of my previous project managers, we built out drip jobs for new construction. So I know that we can do it. I think that would help us out a lot. But I mean, as far as like team structure and stuff, I mean, I think that the guys that we have, we could lead and they wouldn't really necessarily need the hand holding of a project manager. Like these jobs are also simple, largely. It should be I wind them up at the beginning of the week and then they're set.
It should be, but it's not, and it's
But
not
it's
working.
not. Yeah.
So you need someone that owns the projects,
Yeah.
not the project. It's a
Mhm.
different ownership level.
Well, there's this painter that I interviewed today, and today was her first day, and she's very good, but she's like got the mind of somebody who could help me to start tracking these labor hours and holding these people in the team accountable because a lot of our guys are Hispanic guys. Maybe they didn't have the
Does
type of
she speak Spanish?
education. Sorry.
Does she speak Spanish?
I'm not sure if she does speak Spanish or
Well, then
not,
that's not very
but
helpful.
the crew leaders all speak English.
Yeah, I mean, if they can speak good English, I mean, I think
All the crew leaders speak English, but
yeah, so
it's
you've seen
more of
someone that you estimated that understands painting, and you say, "Well, what if I put that person in charge of production?" And you might be able to get that person for a discount.
quality assurance. Maybe not exactly as much production, but quality assurance. The crews are responsible for maintaining their timelines. The crew leader is held accountable to the labor hour burden, and then she is going to just be checking them to make sure that they're doing the quality of the work that they're supposed to, and maybe also being like a punch out person because we always have.
She can also handle job costing, right? She can also
Yes,
handle
exactly. Yes, yes,
right,
yes.
she
And
can also handle
SOP development because we're trying to
SOP
get these
development.
SOPs built out so we can package this thing up and,
Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that if we just sit here and uncover, she would have plenty to do.
yes.
That's a worthy hire, it's an investment, man, and it's like
So what would
even
you say would be her role definition if you had to come up with something?
project coordinator.
Project coordinator. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
once you sell it, you hand that baton over, she's in charge of everything, getting the colors, getting the
Yeah.
specs,
Yeah.
tweaking the work order, making sure it's ready to go, making sure meeting the team on the first day in the morning
Mhm.
and walking them through the job. These are things you wish you could be doing, you can't,
Yeah, I can't. No. All right. That's genius.
right?
That actually,
And
yeah,
then
that's
who's
genius.
running to the paint store? Who's making sure they have what they need on time?
Well, they should
This
already
is
get
a
their stuff ordered the
Dude,
day
this is 30
before.
bucks an hour. If you wanna get someone good, $30 an hour role. If anything, you learn in this role of how to manage this person, and if you
Yes.
find someone that you can put in that role, that's an investment, man. It is.
Okay. I know that's gonna be that's what I was thinking because 'cause I'm talking to her as if she's a painter, and then I start seeing the way that her mind works and that I can actually get her to start doing some of these functions, and I think that that would help a lot. So, bringing her in and teaching her how to coordinate, how to track the budget and the job's timeline, and also be maintaining the quality assurance. Because Jorge, my intention with Jorge is that he's just gonna manage the projects from an administrative standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, boots on the ground has immense value, man. I think that's a big mindset shift I had, man. Having someone fully responsible. And you can imagine you've done residential, so you can imagine how valuable that is on the residential side, but it's just equally as valuable on the new construction side, even if the only thing they do is make sure that jobs are being done on time,
Mhm.
stepping in to help on the last day or doing that extra push or hey guys, we need to stay late today. We got to get
Yeah.
this done today. Doing the touch ups when the different phases happen, sending her to
Mhm.
go do touch-ups, right? Is that not a big deal?
Yeah, oh, for sure. Well, how would we would we just add would we spread her pay over each job and make that a direct job cost?
Well, it's an overhead expense. When I job cost, divide her cost by how many, um, crews you have, and then just allocate that. So if she's $28 and you have 4 crews, and allocate $7 an hour to each crew.
Huh. Interesting, okay.
So she's like a partial teammate to each crew. That's how I like to look at it. You can do it
I
however you
like
want.
that a lot, actually. That was another question that we had is
So in other
how
words,
do we
like
bill it?
like, you're charging the customer to have that 5th teammate or whatever, like, you just kinda have to look at it that way, but I do think it can be categorized as a direct job cost.
I think that that would be, economically speaking, a better play for us and more digestible. Jorge, did you have some questions that have kinda come up here?
Not at the moment.
So do you run just crew leaders or do you have foremen?
They're just crew leaders.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have 4 of them, so and I've one supervisor that's going to each job, that's in communication with customers, answering questions, that's getting the paint, that's running around all day, making sure the teams have what they need, keeping an eye on timelines. He's scheduling the jobs. As soon as they come in, he's picking which crew to send them to. I mean, this is a vital role.
Yeah, I agree. Well, do you think, and I hate to even phrase it this way, do you think that I should bring this person on and also be looking for somebody who maybe is a better fit? Because this person could just be somebody off the street. I don't know if this person is the hire, and I don't want to just pick the first person that sounds good like I've done every other time, and then realize that this person maybe doesn't have the legs to go where we're
Dude, who do you
actually
want? I
going.
mean, when you make this hire, it's gonna be someone that you spend the most time communicating with.
Hmm.
So find out who you click with the most and that you can coach and teach and who you would want to show up at your project. It's more of a feeling type hire than it is an experience type hire. But obviously you want them to be a manager and have that level of experience, but
Well, the
you
problem
know,
was that I had too good of a relationship with the last project manager, and he wasn't meeting my expectations. He wouldn't do the things that I said, and there would be no
didn't you say he was like a
consequences.
friend or somebody you
Not this one. That was the last one. This one I actually recruited. Like we spent $1,000 on Indeed, and we ran a whole
why do you,
search.
and when
And
you say you had too close of a relationship, I mean, what do you mean?
I just don't. I think that I felt like I couldn't reprimand him or something. Maybe
Okay. Did you guys spend a lot of time outside of work together?
no,
Just one of those things where it was kinda like a good friendship style
it
business
must have
relationship?
been. Yeah,
Yeah. I think that's a good learning experience. I don't think you'll repeat the same
yeah. You're right.
behavior. I think just learn from that, and next time around, set the tone, I think you
Yeah.
learned a lot, right? Set the tone. I don't like that you waited 6 months. I know that you had some stuff going on, but next time, just try to rip the Band-Aid off because there's a lot of things that you learned that you
Hmm.
could have immediately applied to a new hiring pool, yet
Yeah.
6 months of time and all those emotions are gone.
Well, I
So
didn't have much projects going on at that time. Basically, everything went to a full stop, and then we had to see what projects we still had open that we could even go and work
sure,
on. And then I had to bring on all these new crews. So I basically rebuilt the business in the last 4 months. You can
right.
ask Jorge. We basically went from zero,
I love it,
and
man. I'm impressed. So, I would just say this, man, there's 2 major holes here. Your software, you have no software. So, I would just make sure that you do that. I think Drip Jobs will do what you need it to do. Even just having a central point to communicate with people, we've updated a lot of things since you've used it.
yeah, it's probably been a couple years now.
And the second thing is, I would definitely suggest meeting with Aiden with Paint Pro Coaching. He specializes in new construction estimating, and he's
Uh huh.
really good at creating production rates around that. I'm happy to connect you, but I love what he does for our Drip Jobs users. He builds them all out, and I think he's kind of like that next step for you. Brandon Lewis is a good friend. He's amazing, and I know you probably know that too.
Yeah,
He's on a higher level in terms of like the companies that he is best with and
for sure.
2 to 4 million. So I love him. Aiden's good for the let's get these systems in place.
Let's get these systems in place. That's all I want to do right now.
Good. So he's your next step, man. He'll get you right for sure. But I think what I would do is I'd put out the ad in Indeed for that project coordinator, get some applicants in, challenge yourself to have 5 in-person interviews. This role is very important. I wouldn't you have one girl, she might get a second interview now that
Yeah.
you're
Okay.
thinking like that, but 5 interviews, man. Don't make this a fast knee-jerk decision. Audit everything. Audit their temperament, how they handle stress, where and how do you handle stress is a big question. So you try to create a question around that. Tell me a time where, you know, you messed up at work and you had to deal with the pressure. What did that look like? Because the thing is, man, we love people when they're doing good, but when it's stressful and we need results, how do they respond to that? You
Yeah.
know?
Well, a question that I kind of had was like, would I, like, let's say that I'm drawing up this ad, would I target painters and let them know that it's going to be a painter, but you're really going to be doing more of a coordinator role? Because
No,
I
I
really
think
need, that was the project manager. He didn't have any painting experience, and that effed me really hard,
well,
you
in your
know?
description, you say you want someone that has painting experience. Of course, you want someone that knows the business of painting. So you're gonna find people that have been painting their 20 some years that wanna manage. I know I would be, interested in that if I've been painting, I don't wanna paint anymore.
Yeah.
So in your copy, use AI, say, "Hey, I wanna create an ad for an opportunity for someone with painting experience to be a project coordinator for a fast-growing, new construction, high-end house painting business who would be responsible for XYZ."
Yeah. I like that a lot. Well, I'm really glad that we had this talk when we
Good,
had this
man.
talk, because this is timely for us for sure. We're in a real weird spot where we could go really bad or really good depending on what decisions we make.
I love that. We all are, man.
Yeah, amen to that.
I'm gonna connect you with Aiden. He's phenomenal, man. He'll at least meet with you and get your estimating in line if needed and maybe see other areas he can help. And I
Yeah,
think
that'd
he's
be
a good
fantastic.
all right, cool. Any other questions, man? Anything else I can help you with right now? I mean, it's a lot. Was it helpful?
Like, yes.
That's the goal, man. It's the goal.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, every couple of months we get together, and then you give me a couple months of work, and then I'll get to work on it, and then
Love it,
we'll come
dude.
back to it
Yeah.
again.
Glad I
Thank
can
you,
help you,
Tanner.
man. Well, it's nice meeting you, Jorge. Caleb, I know we'll be in touch. And yeah, man, good luck, and I can't wait for the next meeting. Hopefully, there'll be some new challenges. Maybe we'll be talking salesperson and growth up into that level. You never know.
Yeah, copy that, man.
Most
I love
definitely.
it.